How did you die? Your contact? Not well. 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 How did you die? Your contact? Not well.
Some will die over oil, kill over land, charge you for taxes, and blame Uncle Sam. Read your rights, and charge you for nothing. Now who's really gangster? And tell me who's frontin'. Murder your sons, ravish your daughters. Here, overseas, and across those waters. Tanks and missiles, bombs and grenades. Inject your land with guns and aid. You better pray to the Most High or whoever you praise. The politicians can't help you, they're just puppets and slaves, trying to get paid. And you are too. What you gon' do when the gun is pointed at you? Like bulletproof. We bang, 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 bang. Loaded cock and name and shoe. Loaded cock and name and shoe. We loaded cock and name and shoe. We gon' die. We living like bulletproof. We bang, 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 bang. I said we loaded cock and name and shoe. Loaded cock and name and shoe. We loaded cock and name and shoe. Hey world, get you a paper. Turn on the news. Ride through the hood. I witness the blues. How can you ignore it? It's easy to spot it. The trap house, the liquor store, and your city's got it. And my city's got it. And their city's got it. This world is chaotic. And nothing's symbolic. So life don't get cherished. So our babies perish. And your babies perish. Now tell me who's careless. Now who should I pray to? And what should I pray for? You can't pay the preacher for your redemption. I know where we're headed. I already read it. The good book done said it. Like cowboys and Indians, we just living like we bulletproof. We bang, 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 bang. Loaded cock and name and shoe. Loaded cock and name and shoe. We loaded cock and name and shoe. We gon' die. Bang, I said we living like we bulletproof. We bang, 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 bang. I said we loaded cock and name and shoe. Loaded cock and name and shoe. We loaded cock and name and shoe.
Luda, they say tomorrow, promise today, but today I promise. If we don't make our own way, somebody'll take it from us. Snatch it like rats to cheese. So Lord help me please, cause I'd rather die on my feet than to live on my knees. Living like I'm bulletproof, cocking a Glock and naming shoes. My future's ever clear, 180 proof. So I open the bottle to swallow my pride and drink the pain away. I take shots and just lay up, then fade away. Dreaming of better days, dreaming of better pay. But we got our work cut out for us, so we better pray. Pray to uphold the weak, not for eternal sleep. But if I die, I pray the Lord my soul to keep.
Living like we bulletproof.
About a black or white thing, cause that will cause conflict and make this illegit. But your definition of legit and illegitimate is confusing. Now the redhead wanna say to make things clearer, cause in about a year or two, what you do is take a look up in the mirror, and what you see is the image of hate that you shed upon the others, the sisters and your brothers. Now, in my opinion, you need someone to teach. The whole world is acting like a giant Howard Beach. I asked my man Victor what he used to do for fun. He said he learned to shoot a gun before the age of 21. Crime and abortion, all kinds of my distortion. This is very important, but just a little caution. And what you can do, just that's a clue and it's true. Yo, don't want a brand new sweater and make your life better and do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
You got to do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
You got to do the right thing.
Do the right thing, yeah.
Yo, redhead, man, kick that one down. Do the right thing. Oh, yeah. Bring it. Do the right thing, do the right thing. Oh, yeah.
Do the right thing. Not talking about a black or white thing, cause that will cause conflict and make this illegit. But your definition of legit and illegitimate is confusing. Now the redhead wanna sing to make things clearer. Cause in about a year or two, what you do is take a look up in the mirror. And what you see is the image of hate that you shed upon the others and sisters and your brothers. Now, in my opinion, you need someone to teach. The whole world is acting like a giant Howard Beach. I asked my man Victor what he used to do for fun. He said he learned to shoot a gun before the age of 21. Crime and abortion, all kinds of my distortion. This is very important, but just a little caution of what you can do. That's a clue, and it's true. Yo, don't want a brand new sweater and make your life better and do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
You got to do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
You got to do the right thing.
Do the right thing, yeah.
Brothers are stealing and dealing and big wheeling. And to a younger mind, that stuff is appealing. So what do? They gather up a crew, go out and steal a rob instead of getting a job. Now, your mother tried to bring you up better than that. The same way she loved you, you loved her right back. But now you think you're grown and you argue a lot over money you got from dealing stuff on the block. Now, you're not the only one in the world that has problems. Keep your head straight and you can surely solve them. Be a fly guy and reach sky high. And like the Jeffersons, you get a piece of the pie. I hope you take heed to the message I brought. In other words, the lesson I taught. The red I kick a lyric, but I won't sing. And the FBI crew wants you and you to do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
You got to do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
You got to do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Right about now, one of the scholars and homework in the house told me count it off as we go low something like this. 1, 2, 3, and in London,
Gotta do the right thing.
France,
Gotta do the right thing.
Scotland,
Gotta do the right thing.
in Holland,
Gotta do the right thing.
Japan,
Gotta do the right thing.
Australia,
Gotta do the right thing.
all of Africa,
Gotta do the right thing.
everybody in the world, you got to do the right thing. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
You got to do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
You got to do the right thing.
Do the right thing, yeah.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
You got to do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
You got to do the right thing.
Do the right thing, yeah.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
You got to do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
You got to do the right thing.
Do the right thing, yeah.
The right thing.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
The right thing.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing, yeah.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
You got to do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
You got
Yo, redhead, man, keep that one. Do the right thing.
Oh yeah. Check this out. Check this out. Check this out. Oh yeah.
Come on.
Oh yeah.
I do the right thing, do the right thing.
Do the right thing. Not talking about a black or white thing, cause that will cause conflict and make this illegit. But your definition of legit and illegitimate is confusing. Now the redhead wanna say, to make things clearer, cause in about a year or two, what you do is take a look up in the mirror, and what you see is the image of hate that you shed upon the others and sisters and your brothers. Now, in my opinion, you need someone to teach. The whole world is acting like a giant Howell Beach. I asked my man Victor what he used to do for fun. He said he learned to shoot a gun before the age of 21. Crime and abortion, all kinds of my distortion. This is very important, but just a little caution of what you can do. That's a clue, and it's true. Yo, don't want a brand new sweater and make your life better and do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
You got to do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
You got to do the right thing. Brothers are stealing and dealing and big wheeling, and to a younger mind that stuff is appealing. So what do? They gather up a crew, go out and steal a rob instead of getting a job. Now your mother tried to bring you up better than that. The same way she loved you, you loved her right back. But now you think you're grown and you argue a lot over money you got from dealing stuff in the block. Now you're not the only one in the world that has problems. Keep your head straight and you can surely solve them. Be a fly guy and reach sky high, and like the Jeffersons, you get a piece of the pie. I hope you take heed to the message I brought. In other words, the lesson I taught. The red I kick a lyric, but I won't sing. And the FBI crew wants you and you to do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
You got to do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing. You got to do the right thing. Right about now, I want all the squatters and the homeboys in the house. Help me count it off as we go know something like this. 1, 2, 3, and Manhattan, you gotta do the right thing. Brooklyn, you gotta do the right thing. In the Bronx, you gotta do the right thing. Queens Island, you gotta do the right thing. Long Island, you gotta do the right thing. Staten Island, you gotta do the right thing. On the West Coast, you gotta do the right thing. Everybody in the world, you got to do the right thing. Do the right thing.
Check this out.
Yes, greetings with the radio Things and Times. I thought it was reflection. So when I said do the right thing, we are got you. So we want to play you now. My leader and teacher, Imam Worthy Muhammad. Listen.
Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Alhamdulillah. Praise be to Allah. Assalamu alaikum. Praise be to Allah, the Lord, creator, cherisher, the sustainer of all the worlds. We witness that he's one and has no partners or helper in the role of keeping the creation. And we witness that Muhammad, the prophet of the Quran, and the prophet of Islam, the prophet of the Muslims, and a mercy to all the worlds, that prophet Muhammad, born in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, what is now Saudi Arabia, about 1400 and some years ago, is the seal of the prophets, the last of the prophets, God's messenger and his servant, and we salute him with the salute, the peace and the prayers be upon him, Ameen, and upon us be peace, Ameen. We are honored, and I say we, because I represent something more than myself. If I represented only myself, I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be known by any of you. And we have been honored here in this little brief time that I've been present here in Dorchester, Massachusetts, and Boston. We have been honored here by our very distinguished and honorable elected officials, your elected officials. I say our because I identify with you. And we are very grateful to them and to this city for the respect that have been given us, shown to us on this occasion. And we hope that we can serve in an excellent way our cause, which also includes the welfare, the good life and good future of mankind everywhere, in this city of Boston and everywhere. I would like to, before addressing the language in this subject that we have, excuse me, how to live with self, with family, with neighbors, and with another race, I would like to address the Strand Theater. This theater reminds me of a theater in Chicago where I was raised up from a little boy, from a baby really. My mother brought me to Chicago when I was only 11 months old. And that theater's name is the Regal Theater, the Regal Theater. And the purpose of that theater is the same as the purpose of this theater, the Strand Theater. We lost that theater because of bad times in Chicago, financially bad times for African-American people. And for our African-American neighborhoods, the theater ran down. We lost that theater. But because there was a person who valued that theater and a businessman, African-American businessman, on the south side, in the area, right on the south side where that theater is, because of his caring about that history, the theater was open again, and in a much bigger and beautiful structure on the south side. Mr. Joe Gardner, who has his cosmetics products, hair preparation products, and some other businesses, properties and businesses. He used his money, and he got other support, and now the Regal Theater is open. So we have 3 theaters now that I know of that have long history, and they are open now, and they are back on the job of keeping the good life, the traditional life, and values of the African-American people, the Strand, the Apollo, and the Regal Theater. There are a few others, and I'm going to make it my business to get acquainted with all of them, because I feel that this history is very important to us. And believe me, I know the people who are behind these theaters, our African-American supporters, like Percy Sutton, who is behind the Apollo Theater. He and his family, with his support, he and his family, they reopened the Apollo Theater in New York. And I know that all of these people behind these theaters, they are not only interested in us singing and dancing, but they're interested in us keeping a good moral life, having faith in God, and having a ethnic or racial culture or identity of our own. They want us to keep our folkways that are good and excellent. And they want us to leave those habits that are bad and degrading. They want us to not forget the good training we got from our excellent fathers and mothers and grandparents in the South and in the North. And they want us to not forget the excellent contributions to our behavior at home, our behavior in the public, our behavior in entertainment that has been affected by such men as Marcus Garvey, and before him, Frederick Douglass, also the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and many others have made contribution to our improved behavior at home, in the streets, and in entertainment. They have also helped shape our taste and refine our taste for clothing and our taste for food and our taste for entertainment. And we want to preserve that. And we have such men who will who will sacrifice some of their wealth to preserve these theaters, these institutions, for us, that we will know ourselves and live better and better and grow better and better into better and better spiritual and cultural form. So we salute them today, too, on this visit to Boston. Percy Sutton, Mr. Percy Sutton, and Mr. Joe Gardner in Chicago, and to the persons who, I'm not acquainted with them, the persons who are responsible for the Strand Theater being open and functioning in this city. I would like to share with you some thoughts I have on, well, a concept, a tree. I've noticed as a young boy that cats would chase birds and sometimes climb up a tree to try to get a bird. And also dogs would chase cats. And sometimes the cat would run up the tree. And the tree is a mercy to the animals, especially to the weak animals. And that's what we need. We need something that's a mercy to the weak, for the weak. The big cat couldn't go out on the little limb that the bird was on. I saw a bird just wait on the cat. Like this, you think you can come out? I guess the cat thought he was going to fly away. The bird just sat there and wait on him. And he tried to come out there and he hit one of those little thin, little light branches like a switch, and down he fell for a long drop. It wouldn't support him, you know. And I saw once a dog chase a cat. And the cat ran up the tree, and I said to myself, now he's already out of reach of that dog. That dog can't climb a tree. But that cat looked like he said, he was so afraid of that dog, like he said, I better get out here where I know he can't manage. The cat went out on a small limb that could only support about the weight of a cat. He knew that if that dog got up there, he couldn't be supported on those small branches that he was supported on. And to me, that's the way Islam is. That's the way religion is. If it is really interested in bettering the life of people, religion is like that. It provides for the weak a refuge from the strong. It provides for the weak a refuge from the strong. You can run to something that if they get on it, it won't support them. Now, you know, if a person is materialistic and all they want is this material world, if you run out on the branch of human kindness, if they come out there to get you, they're going to drop. And their fall may be very, 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 very long. Very long fall. So God has given us a religion. If we live it and practice it, it will protect us from the strong. You don't have to worry. It will protect us from the strong. We have God as our protector, but we also have our faith as our protection. And if we live this religion, have faith, have to keep the faith and live it, that is a protection for us. The strong can't get us. I remember the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He was teaching, saying things that were really very disturbing in this world, or to this world. But because of the good behavior we had and the good loving hearts and minds we had, we were protected. We didn't suffer. We weren't afraid of anybody. We weren't fearing that the Klan was going to come or the police was going to come and storm the place, storm the doors, break in and kill us. We weren't afraid of that. We didn't live with fear. We lived with faith. And we were beautiful in our hearts and beautiful in our spirit and mind. So God's protection was on us. And since the passing of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we have been trying to learn better. What is this religion, Islam? From this, as the Imam earlier, the earliest speaker said here, not speaker, but the Imam said here, Imam Talib, I believe it was he who said that this religion wants us to live the best, be the best, and that's exactly what Islam wants us to be, the best. So when we come into Islam and its best references, purest references, first number one reference is Quran. And then the lifestyle of Muhammad himself, how Muhammad the Prophet lived this religion. With those references and with a religion motivating us always, moving us always to be the best, we can be very successful in this world. And we have been very successful, following the direction that we find in the Quran and in the life of Muhammad the Prophet. And we have now come into, I would say, a renewed spirit, a renewed spirit. We were drooping for a while, beaten down by disappointments. But it looked like we have outlived that troubled period of time. And now I see a renewed spirit on this community, in this community. And it tells me that we are on the way to progress again. Not to any small progress, the dreams of a poor individual, but to big progress, the dreams of visionaries who envision the future for communities and nations and the whole of humanity on this earth. We are on our way in the road of progress. Progress for our community life. This is really a good time for us. God Most High, highly glorified is He says to us in our religion, and follow the best thereof, and follow the best thereof. This is a religion that puts emphasis on excellence. Excellence. It wants us to strive for excellence in everything that we do and follow the best thereof. So if you're given a book and the book asks you to do a number of things or give you a number of guidelines for a better life, don't look for the weakest things to follow. Look for the strongest things to follow. Look for the strongest points. And make sure that you don't neglect those strong points. And try to live those strong points. That way, your life will be a strong life, and your life will be a life of excellence. And follow the best thereof. Muhammad the Prophet has also told us of God. He says that God has prescribed or inscribed in the nature or in the natural makeup of everything, excellence. Excellence. Therefore, if we understand this saying of the prophet, we believe that I am born for excellence. God has created me for excellence. If He has inscribed that upon my very nature, upon the very makeup that He made Himself, that's me, if He has inscribed it upon it, then that means it's there before I'm aware of it. It's there before I'm conscious of it. It's a part of me. It is me. It's my life. Excellence. Isn't it wonderful? But the prophet didn't say that God did this just for people. He said for everything. So what does this tell us? This tells us that everything that God made was made, it was made to grow and progress or evolve into more and more excellence. And when we hear of the theory of evolution in our schools, high schools and colleges and universities, when we hear the theory of evolution, we as Muslims, we should want to relate that to the guidance on evolution that we have in our religion called the Quran and the teachings of the last prophet Muhammad. We should want to relate it to that. Because here is the secular world telling us that everything, man, animal, even the material world, has undergone or is undergoing evolution or underwent an evolution and evolving. It starts out crude and small. And as it grows and lives, it grows out of its crudeness and out of its smallness. That all life was once one cell. And from one cell, it became many cells. And finally into a complex creature like we are, the human being, this human structure, this human anatomy, this human biology that we have, grew from one simple cell to this complicated, very fine machine that no other machine can match, the living human machine. Grew to be that. And is that against the Quran? God says that he created you from a small clot, from an alaq. And some of the scholars who interpret this, they say this alaq is a small living thing, like a little small fish-like thing, a swimming thing. They say this alaq is really the life germ. The life germ. It's the life germ itself that evolves from a simple little thing, creature, that can't be seen by the naked eye, into what you are and what I am. Grown-up human being. Everything is in the state of evolution, undergoes the stages of evolution until it evolves to where God intended for it to go or to be. This is secular world science, but this is also religious knowledge from the Quran and from other religions if we understand it. So if we are evolving, then we should always agree with that is promising us a better life and more progress. Because that is our destiny. That is our destiny. That is where God wants us to go. If God is evolving us, then God wants us to always accept to be a little better, to grow a little more, to progress a little further. That he prescribed or inscribed excellence for everything. And what does God say of the community? He says to us Muslims, you are the best of the communities. Evolve for all people. You are the best of the communities, evolved for all people. Think about what is said here. God says we are the best, that we are the best of the communities evolved for all people. This tells us that there are also other communities evolved for all people. This new nation we call the United States of America, it is a new society among the societies of the world. And we who know something about its history, how it was conceived by its founding fathers, we can agree that this is a society or a community evolved for all people. It admits citizens from all parts of the world. And once those citizens become citizens, they are given the same treatment under the law that all other citizens are given. So this is a country conceived for all people. It was conceived to accommodate all people, people seeking freedom, freedom from oppression, people seeking an opportunity to live a better life, to have more progress for themselves, not only as individuals, but as communities. The Irish came here because they wanted a better life for Irish, the Polish, the Jews, the Spanish, the Spaniards, the French, all of them except us. We were brought over here for a worse future. But But because of the nature of this idea called Americanism, or, well, more correctly put, democracy, because of this idea, we too have benefited in this country. And though they brought us here for a worse future, we have a better future now. I know you will say it's because of Islam and Allah, yes, but also because of this idea that invites all people to come who are denied and persecuted and denied their life they want in other places, come here. It's because of this idea too. And we have to thank Allah for that. So we are people who should believe that we are created to progress. We are created to not to stand still, but to progress. We are created not to stay on the same level, but to graduate to higher levels. We are created not to have small things and be satisfied with small things, but to be motivated to have bigger things and better things. This is what we have to believe, just from this one statement. God says he has inscribed excellence for everything. And he also says of the community, we are the best community evolved for the good of all people. What Islam gives us to situate us for the good life and progress is ideas that are powerful. You accept those ideas, you don't have to be a scholar, but if you just accept the idea, if you just believe that God intended this for you, you're going to be better situated spiritually to accomplish more in your life. Just being told this. We weren't no great minds. But Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he too was no great mind. Not formally. He didn't have any education. He was almost illiterate. Only 3 years elementary school education from Georgia. And you know what that 3 years was back there when he was a boy. Nothing to give any notice to. But he was motivated. He wasn't a scholar, he wasn't a great mind, he didn't have education. But when he was told, you are the best, the righteous, the powerful, and he believed it because he thought God was saying that to him. He believed it. And just believing it put him in a better spirit, to have a better life, to have a better future, to make progress for himself and for others. So don't underestimate the Word of God. Its powerful message, its potent force, when it comes into your head and into your heart and into your mind. You don't have to be a scholar. I don't think you have to digest it as a scholar digests it. All you have to do is accept it as an ignorant person accepts it, who believes in God and trusts God. And it will start to work on your life. It'll start to work on your mind and on your spirit. It'll start to work in your soul as yeast in bread. It'll start to rise you up and make you better. Praise be to Allah. So what Islam gives us situates us better to have a good life and to have progress. How does Islam prepare us for global progress? Oh, the globe is too big. I haven't learned how to live and manage my own apartment. Yes, Brother Imam. Well, let me tell you something. If you get your mind made up to try to live, to have yourself respected on this earth, in the community of men on this whole globe, I guarantee you that power, that potent force in your head and in your soul and in your spirit, it will grow you up. It grow you too big for your apartment. After a while, you'll be too big for your house. You'll be too big for your block. You'll be so big until we'll see you out here representing Boston. Don't think small. Don't think small. Always think big. And if the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had a magic, if he had a miracle, that was his miracle. Talking big talk and getting big results from small people. Now Allah wants us to know something about our relationships with each other. Allah wants us to know how the value of our relationship with our mate. Man with his mate. Woman with her mate, the man. Allah wants us to know the value of that relationship. That relationship wasn't created for us just to have sexual pleasures. That's beneath most animals. Most animals are also social animals. They're not just sexual animals. They're also social animals. They don't have sex just for each other. They have sex for their children, to have babies. And they realize that once they have babies, then they have to stop putting so much of their investments in just sex. They have to start putting some investments in the future of their children. This is the teachings of God to us in our great religions, in the Quran and in other books, if we understand it. So God wants us to know more about the value of these relationships, so that we don't think of sex as intelligent people. We don't think of sex just on a sexual level. We think of sex as the foundation, the beginning of something good, something big, something great, and that's the family and society of man. When you look at a flower, as a student of botany or studying the flowers, you look at that flower and you see it open up. You know it's sex organs. You can look right at its sex organs. They're exposed. But they don't suggest any indecency. They're so beautiful. Here God has given us a sign that I want you to see sex, your sex, like you see a flower. It's a beautiful thing. It should make a contribution to society. The bees go to the flower and they help mix the pollen so that there be germination, growth and multiplying of the flowers. And the flowers yield something to the bees, and the bees take it and make honey. The bears like it, and we like it. And its message to our intellect and to our social interest is much bigger than its value in just sweet honey. Yes. God wants us to see sex in its social role, not just in its physical role. Then we can have more respect for our families. We can have better families. We can have more respect for our relationships, man to woman, woman to man, and have better relationships, better marriages, better families. But this world drums up lust and makes sex funky. Yeah. So you have to fight that. That's Satan's influence. That's the influence of Satan. Want to destroy the social role of sex. So your family is brought down, your neighborhood is brought down, your society is brought down, and all of you living but nothing but for really monstrous pleasures. Yes. Some of the great artists who do satires on the society, they write they picture the whole society as nothing but a society of animals. Monsters. Yes. Because that's how they interpret it. That these people have fallen from the great platform of human excellence. They're fallen from that. And they're fallen to a life that is beneath any normal creature. So their lives now, the lives of monsters. They're living the lives of monsters. We don't want that. We want to live the life that God intended for us, the life of human beings. Now, a man has to also understand the relationship for him with his possession. Most people can't manage the relationship with their possessions. They will get a new job, a good job. They will get much more income, and they will have much more material things in their lives, nice cars, nice home, plush furnishing and everything. They will have all of that, rich environment in the home, but they can't manage the relationship. They can't manage the relationship. For everything, there's a relationship. Science says this and religion says this. For everything, there's a relationship. And you are not going to be left alone and unaffected by that relationship. If you're making $200 a week now, when you start to make $2,000 a week, if you had a problem in your relationship with 200, you're going to have 10 times that problem when you have 2,000. The problem going to be multiplied, intensified, at least 10 times. You see? So everything, for everything, there's a relationship. And there's one relationship that if you accept it, and then accept revealed guidance from that, that's God. Your relationship with God, if you accept that relationship and honor that relationship, regard that relationship as you should regard it, and follow the guidance that God has revealed, that relationship will protect you from all other relationships. That's what religion does for us. It gives us a protection for all relationships, whether it's with myself, because I have to have a relationship with myself. Some people, you can leave them alone by themselves, and their self will kill them in about 2 days. Yeah, you have to be able to manage a relationship with yourself, and a relationship with your wife, and with your husband, or with your husband's sister, and with your children, and with the neighbors, and everybody. You have to manage these relationships. And in Islam, we are told that the first conquest and the greatest conquest should be the conquering of your own self. You have to conquer your own self, to tame your own self, civilize your own self, refine your own self, command respect from your own self, so that your own self live the honorable life that God intended you to live. Then you walk in pride, you walk with dignity, you walk with a sense of great accomplishment. The hell, I manage my own self. And stop. Then you won't feel the pressure of racism in the air. The hell, ain't no white man managing me. Ain't no combination of white nations managing me. I'm managing my own self. God says, we have certainly, God speaking, saying, we have certainly made honorable. That means made noble. Noble, N-O-B-L-E. Honorable. You know, it's the English that claim nobility more than any other nation. The Englishman claims nobility. He claims it and he hates everybody else that don't understand it. The Irish didn't catch on to that nobility. He put some hurting on the Irish. The Scots, it looked like they couldn't catch on to that idea of nobility. He put some hurting on the Scots, on the people of Scotland. Yeah, he put some hurting on them. Now, you look like a white man, but something wrong with you. I'm going to have to beat you until you learn what this nobility is all about. God says he's certainly made honorable, made noble, every child of Adam. I don't care how white you are, how black you are. According to the language of the scriptures, Quran, Judaic Bible, and also the Quran, Bible, Quran, and the Judaic, the Torah, all of them say the same thing. According to those scriptures, no matter how white you are, how black you are, you're a child of Adam. And God says he made honorable, noble, every, kulli. You speak some Arabic? Kulli means every. Each and every, kulli. Bani, child, descendant. Adam, of Adam. Qad karamna, qad, certainly indeed. Karamna, we made noble and honorable. Kulli bani, every descendant, Adam of Adam. Now, if you let that statement enter your head and you believe it, it's going to enter your heart. It's going to enter your soul. It's going to enter your spirit. It's going to affect your spirit. And you're going to start growing out of your inferiority. Because God said he made you noble. And noble men qualify for all positions in a society. Is that right? That's their history. See, that's not our language. We didn't make nobles and lords. They did. So if you accept that, then you must then walk with pride, not with shame on you. Walk with pride. Say, God, maybe I don't have the education. Maybe I don't have the skills. But God created me to be president of the United States of America. To be the president of this bank. To be in charge of trade or commerce. You have to believe that. We have African American men and women now in this country moving up into these very special positions that we thought we would never get into. The Doubting Thomases, they said, no, white man will never let you get there. But those who believed in their own inherent nobility, they said, the white man doesn't have to let me, I'll get there on my own. Now, we are shown one man so that we will believe in what God has given us. Because God hasn't given any man something that he didn't give every man. Not in his natural creation. In our natural creation, God gave us all the same. But it's the mercy of God that gives some of us better situations than others, better circumstances than others, better opportunities than others. So because of that, in time, we are more qualified than others that did not get these favored situations or favored circumstances or opportunities, right? Yes, we know that these differences exist, and we understand them. But we come right back to what is given by God to us in Scripture. That is that when he created us halakafesawa. He created us and he made us all equal in our creation. That means whatever any other man was given to work with or to live by or upon for his future, he gave it to every other man. Didn't give one race something that he didn't give the other race. Gave all the races the same. And that's what the Quran is addressing when it says, our holy book is addressing, when it says, he certainly made honorable and noble every descendant of Adam. We come to the idea now in Islam that's called Tawheed. And Tawheed comes from a word meaning one. That's just one, O-N-E, one. And Tawheed can be translated maybe literally oneness. Oneness, oneness. What it really says is this, that God is one. And upon that fact or that reality, we must reason then that God's creation is one. That is, that the creation must have a unity. The creation must have a law that's throughout, that runs throughout that whole creation. The creation must not be foreign to itself and without being also akin to itself. And that its unity is stronger than its diversity. Its oneness is more powerful than its diversity. We are many and diversified as living things are. Animals and plants and all things are many and diversified. We are many and diversified. But the unity, the sameness, the commonality, the sameness is stronger than the differences. It is not our color that holds us together. It's our humanity that holds us together. We are not held together even as a family at home by the colors. If that was the case, then we'd have to carefully select the color of the husband or the color of the wife. See, I want my family to stay together, so I better make sure she's exactly my shade. Because differences in color is going to break up my family. That's not the case. It's the humanity. It's the same human life that we share with each other. I have the same human life that you have, sister. You have the same human life that I have, sister. And that's what God means when he says that he made male and female of one. He made us of one. And then he made us two of the one thing. Of the one person, he made us two. From our one humanity, he made us male humanity and female humanity. And then he spread from those two many men and women, nations and tribes all over the world. This is what God teaches us. So we are the same. That's why husband and wife can sit down and talk to each other and resolve their problem as long as they respect each other as equals. The man say, but I have a superiority over her. Yes, you do. And God tells you what that superiority is. It's in your muscles and in your wealth and in your money. Now, if you ain't got either one of them, brother, you out of it. But as far as your soul, God made her soul and your soul the same. She's a human soul and you a human soul. And her human soul evolved into a humanity and yours evolved into a humanity. And your humanity is not superior to her humanity. And her humanity is not superior to your humanity. This is reason from the concept or the idea of Tawheed. So this idea tells us that the creation is one. That this material universe of many planets, stars and planets and moon, everything, satellites, all this stuff out there in space. This vast universe of so many material bodies in space. When you look at them, you can see a unity. So Allah says, look at it. Can't you see that it was joined together once? Though it appears separated from you now, earth and sky. Now it took science, astronomy, to show us that earth and sky are united. Man used to think that earth was the center of the universe. This was like a platform that he was sitting on, and all the other stuff was nothing but lights in his ceiling. But with knowledge, with science, he come to know that he ain't nothing but a light in the ceiling too. That the earth itself ain't nothing but a light in the ceiling, and a small one at that. So he came to believe that this material world or universe is one system. And that's said in the term or the expression, universe. Uni meaning one, verse meaning verse. One verse. Though it has many verses, we can perceive it in its totality as a universe. Isn't that wonderful? As one single verse. And I guess that one single verse would be its universal law that holds it all together. There's a universal law holding all this material creation together and having it operate in a way that makes it serve life and man, or mankind. This Tawheed, it goes on to say that though we are of different nationalities or races, we are one people. That all of us are brothers and sisters. Now I know this sounds churchy to you Muslims. But it's the truth. When we say Islamic Brotherhood, we're saying the same thing that Christians say when they say brotherhood. Islamic Brotherhood, what is it supported by? Islamic Brotherhood is supported by the belief that God made the first parents and all the people on earth are children of the first parents. So they are created brothers and sisters. So the Muslim want to go back to that idea. He wants to accept the brother, the person, no matter what skin color they got or what nationality they have. He wants to accept them as his brother in one family of Muslims. So that's the brotherhood of Islam. It's established upon the brotherhood of man. The belief that man is a brotherhood. All people form one brotherhood. We are brothers and sisters of each other. Not in the flesh anymore, because the flesh has multiplied and families have been formed that are closer to each other in their physiology, in skin color, in other things, in description, these physical descriptions, and also spiritual descriptions. We become different, right? So it is not that we are brothers and sisters in that, but God made you from one single human design, one single human pattern. Sister, you know something about patterns. God made you from one single human pattern. And you're mixing and going to different parts of the world and taking on the environmental influences and being formed by those influences into different features and different people have not made you different in terms of your human pattern. So you are still the children of Adam. You are still the children of the original pattern. And in that you are spiritual, soul-wise brothers and sisters. Right? Yes, this is the common idea. Now, how is this going to help us to live with ourselves and to live with our neighbors and to live with another race? How is this going to help us? Don't think about it. Don't think about it. You don't have to think about it. Just let it enter you and accept it. It does its own work. It does its own work. Once it goes in you, it's a potent force. It's a potent germ. It's a potent life force. Once it goes into you, it starts to reshape you if you shape wrong. You don't have to think about it. Just accepting what you are being told now from the scripture is going to begin to influence the shaping of your mind, the shaping of your feelings, your thoughts, and everything. It's going to make you conform to that idea that you have accepted. And if you accept the idea of Tawheed, it's going to make you conform to the idea of Tawheed, and it's going to prepare you to live with yourself, with your family, with your neighbors, and with another race, and make success on this earth. Doesn't mean everybody's going to be beautiful. It just means some people are going to be in good shape. and others will not be in good shape. The ones in good shape, they will be able to manage their lives and make a contribution to the betterment of the whole society. They'll be able to go out front. They'll be able to do charity with a kind word and ignore the ignorance of the savage who's backwards and retarded socially, and he still carries the idea of a superior race in him. You'll look at him and see him as nothing but a little small creature that came out from under the stone in the daylight and ran back under the stone because the daylight was too bright for him. And you'll pity him and you'll want to help shade him until he can mature socially and come out from under the stone into the light. Now, I'm not saying I'm a Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I'm not. I believe in cracking his head with a club or with a bat or something when he's trying to do harm to other people. But if we don't kill him, I believe in getting. If we don't kill him, I believe in getting him some medical help, put him back in good shape, and then put some more shade on him and work on him until he can gradually come out into the sun. Now, I know this city has been marked. We read about it in Chicago, Boston, city with more higher institution of higher learning than any other city in the United States, but got a race problem. Well, I hope you can give this to the press. W. D. Muhammad, Wallace D. Muhammad, said at the Strand Theater today, Boston has no race problem. Boston has a mind problem.
Yes, and that's the truth. Once we fall into the thoughts of the supremacy, and all those who have this idea that they're so supreme, then we get caught within their disease, racism, bigotry, discrimination, and it traps us, even though it's real. But it's real for them. It's only real to us because we're feeling the discouragement. We're feeling the hostility. But if we were in love with ourselves and then ultimately in love with each other and spend real quality time with each other, it wouldn't do nothing to us. So to continue to remember and project what they are doing is educating them to further their wicked concepts. That's what we have done. We've told them how we depict what they do and how it makes us feel. And then as generations come, they use the same strategy, trying to hide what we've told them that we've recognized or we've realized. Then they go around traumatizing our children. And then they spend more time marginalizing us and disconnecting us and continue to rule us. And then they start poisoning the best of us with theological education and dangling some currency, finance in front of a lot of us. And quick sharp, we forget that we're trying to start freedom. We're trying to look at repatriation. We're trying to look at Africa. We're trying to look at Mama. We're trying to look at Dada. We forget all of these things. And even though we may talk about them, we still forget about them because we're not treating them with respect. And we don't see the excellence of Mama and Dada and Africa. Because if we did, we wouldn't have no time for them. We'll have more time for ourselves. And we can know that we love ourselves. See? So all that other talking that's been going on for all these years, check it now and ask yourself. It's like a fighter. They might try to sell the fight. And these promoters want them to behave a certain way. And when them have the weigh-in, behave another way again. And that just sells tickets. In basketball, we do the same. Them tell us to perform at the highest level. And I want to win. They're not business about me winning. They want me to do all my acrobatics. Because that excites them. And that brings a lot of money, more customers. Athletics run fast. And they know that we've been running fast from them. And them commercialize that. So in all of that, where is the love for self? Where's that unity among ourselves? Where's that development? Where's the society that we're creating for ourselves, molding and fashioning for ourselves? We're trying to assimilate within something that don't want us. But it knows better than us. It would take 2 out of 10. And they would take the best 2 out of that 10 because those 2 are well qualified, well educated, and totally polite and sincere. And they have a great deal to offer. And they will use them at some point in time to project against us at some point in time. Look at this role model to what you all are about. But they won't be teaching us. They will put this in particular spaces. Welfare, metropolitan, law, social services, housing, all of these places that we need. And then when we work, when we reach and we find a disparity, we don't know what's happened. We don't know what's happened. And what's happened is the 2 that they took out of that 10. They made them feel proud. And those 2 now is our Achilles heel, which is ourselves again. So it goes on and on and on. When we're hurt, we start telling one another, look at the Asian man. Look at those Muslims. Look at the Chinese. Huh? We're telling everybody, we're telling ourselves what others are doing. So since we know what they're doing, why aren't we doing something for ourselves? We're good inspectors, but someone has made us like that because we become inferior to ourselves. So we will keep going. Al-Islam, proper Al-Islam, not the black supremacists. Proper Al-Islam. It's all about living and finding the excellence in our lives, not just fleeting moments and get sick and die. Hey, is that it? Anybody sit down and think about it and sit here and say, wow, what kind of thing that? We have a fleeting moment hot sex and passion, all heap of dance, get sick, don't know why, and die. And why in that state, you wonder, what did I do? And especially when it's one of them sickness where them tell you that you only have time, so much time. Now you think about life. You think about trying to get an experience of something. Ask anybody whose relative were told they only have so much time. Just ask them, what was X and D speaking about? What were they crying about? What was it that they say they desire? They want life. They want to see the world. They want to love their mother, their father, their family. They want to seek forgiveness. So many things in a short space of time. Because the people them say it's 6 months, or you could have a year, who knows? And you try to live now. You want to try and live now. That's what happens. So you see those experiences and them understanding, if we deal with real things, you see, we will change. And I'm positive. Wallahi, I'm positive. From this dimension, from this direction, it will happen. It will happen. But there are people who are going to try to prohibit it from happening. Yeah, the pessimists. Even then we should have some patience for, some tolerance for. But they will come and say that Islam is Arab and Islam is another religion and so forth and so forth. And then when you stop them and say, hold on a minute, what is the alternative then? What alternative you have? And now you see that them come like a fish. They want oxygen. And then you tell them friends, they don't need no help. Allow them to talk for themselves. And you see, them have problem. And the real arrogant one would turn around without saying Christianity, would turn around and say anything would be better than these Muslim, these Arab thing. And then if you ask them, what do you know of what you're espousing? And you find out that they want more oxygen because they don't know. I've driven a car. I've owned cars. And I've had experience with mechanics on the side road and the back street and so forth. And them give you a good innings as to why you should use them and everything. And you want to use them because they look just like you. But they would not tell you that I don't have the right equipment for that car there. Them nuts and bolts and everything, me not have them tools. But I know what's wrong, and you agree with him, you know. You say, yeah. Another one wouldn't tell you that, you know. Them just come and brutalize the damn thing, do something, and can't put the thing back the way it should be. So the vehicle works for a few days or a few weeks. But they have problem because they didn't have the right tools to undo this cap. And similarly, when they didn't have the right tools to undo it, they didn't have the right tools to put it back, because it's the same thing. So it's not being replaced properly. And now when you find out that this bigger problem than the one that you thought you had. And now you take it to a dealer or some person who have the right tools. Now them can't get in because the nuts and bolts and everything is being abused. Where them supposed to be square, they're now round. Where them supposed to be rectangle, they're round again. So it's a problem. And we've all, back there in the day, experienced that. And I grew up watching people helping people like that because they know that them have the skill, but they don't have the tool. And the community helped them with some money to go and get those tools. And we're talking motor mechanic right now. I come up in that time. I grew up in that time. I've experienced those things that time. What am I saying? That was our society. That wasn't white man racism and all of that nonsense. No. That was our society. I grew up watching people send food with different porks to them garage people them so them can have something to eat. Oh yes. Free of charge. Only thing is that when it's my turn to get my car fixed, then there's some leniency. Yes, natural. You understand? But we're trying to look after one another. You see? So, Al-Islam is not that other thing where people tell America all of America's illness and what may be befalling America. You see? It's about human beings growing. It's about growth. It's about sincerity. It's about honesty, truthfulness. It's about love and appreciation. See, you have to build a person. Just like our parents takes us in their womb, the mother. She becomes very delicate for all those months. And then she doesn't have any control over the birth because it's painful. But now her task gets greater than before. She has now to take care of this child, take care of herself the weeks after the birth, while taking care of the birth, which is the child. Could you imagine? That's the first stage of developing society, developing family, developing unity, developing an understanding. Come on. Who's teaching? God. Allah. Where's the pastor? Huh? The pastor's been amused by that which he got in theological school, which is to convince people that Paul and whoever else is this and that and the other. And everybody wants to live. And if you ask every person, they want to live happy. And then if you ask them again, them tell us that we want to live good and we want, you understand? And if you keep asking, another one will say, well, you know, I want to be able to earn, and it continues, and that's natural. But now you stop and say, well, how would you get that? And now they want oxygen also. But if we told them in the first instant that God has already awarded you with all those things, what says you now? Now that's shocking. Because there's no human being on this earth that's alive that God have not awarded us, that human being, with all things. Outside of that realm is the structure that we have set up. And now we have to penetrate that thing to purchase this, to purchase that. So we're not dealing with that. We're dealing with the life. See? So the Almighty has given us everything that we need. But we don't see it like that. Because the world, which is man as well, is wicked. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us and God. So we want to keep going, we want to keep moving, and we'll go to Al-Islam again, as in the Quran. So watch this space, and don't forget to share. Listen carefully.
It's pertinent here to further examine the reasons we believe that the Yeha Temple, or Bayt al-Muqaddas, is the sacred place that preserved the Ark of the Covenant. First, Bayt al-Muqaddas is an Abyssinian Ge'ez word meaning the place of worship where you put the Ark of the Covenant, the Tabut. Yeha Temple was the place that preserved the Ark before it moved to its current location. As for the area that is called Bayt al-Muqaddas, that we know in Palestine right now, it was not called that during the time the Muslims entered Egypt. This area was called Il-Iliya, and the proof lies in the covenant of Omar ibn al-Khattab, the second caliphate to Prophet Muhammad. When Muslims entered Palestine, Omar established this covenant with the indigenous population, which is known as the Covenant of Omar, and it has been saved until now as an official artifact that shows the tolerance of Muslims with their neighbours. In this covenant, Omar offered security and protection to all the residents of Palestine after the lands were opened by Amr bin al-As and Abu Ubaidah bin al-Jarrah. Omar wrote in his covenant, "In the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate, this is the assurance of safety which the servant of God, Umar, the commander of the faithful, has given to the people of Il-Iliya. He has given them an assurance of safety for themselves, for their property, their churches, their crosses, the sick and healthy of the city, and for all the rituals which belong to their religion. Their churches will not be inhabited by Muslims and will not be destroyed. Neither they, nor the land on which they stand, nor their cross, nor their property will be damaged." This implies that the region in Palestine that we refer to as Bayt al-Muqaddas did not hold such a name back then. Rather, it was called Il-Iliya. Second, Bayt al-Muqaddas in Islam is considered to be the first Qibla. In other words, the direction that Muslims used to face when they prayed before moving this Qibla towards the Kaaba. Qibla by nature has to be a structural shape in the form of a 3D cube, similar to the Kaaba, because a Qibla is a direction and a square is the only architectural shape that has the same measurements across all sides and unified angles, and can combine facing all directions from east, west, north and south. This direction exactly applies to the Yeha Temple, the same as it applies to the Kaaba. Third, and key to this argument, is that Bayt al-Muqaddas had to be present before the revelation of the verse that says, "God is the Exalted One, who took his servant one night for a visit from the Al-Haram Mosque or Masjid in Mecca to the Aqsa Mosque or Masjid." And this applies to the Yeha Temple, but it does not apply to the location that was referred to recently as Bayt al-Muqaddas in Palestine. In fact, at the time of the revelation of this verse, there were no mosques in Palestine at all. What is referred to as the Aqsa Mosque, which is in Palestine and was built in the Umayyad age. The Yeha Temple, on the other hand, is the oldest place of worship which still exists today on the Abyssinian highlands, the Tur, way before Islam and Christianity. Fourth, the region that has the Yeha Temple on the Abyssinian highlands, the Tur, is named the Tigray region. Tigray has two famous cities. One is called Adwa and the other is called Aksua. Exactly, you heard that right, Aksua. It is the capital of the Tigray region and is known as the Sacred City. On Ethiopian maps, it is recorded as Aksum. Nevertheless, the old sources clarify that this region was called Aksua, not Aksum. In the Abyssinian language, for linguistic reasons, popular nouns follow the weight of ala fa'ul. They use this linguistic rhyme in naming the tribes, countries and adjectives. For example, ala-Jahbul, ala-Slum, al-Sha'ub, al-Azlum, al-Aruk, al-Aksum. That's why the name changed from Aksua to Aksum. However, the real name of this region, where the Yeha Temple, Bayt al-Muqaddas, is located, is called Aksua. The reference to the Al-Haram Mosque or Masjid in the verse I just mentioned, God is the Exalted One who took his servant one night for a visit from the Al-Haram Mosque or Masjid in Mecca to the Aqsa Mosque or Masjid, is the region of Mecca where the Kaaba is, and obviously the reference to the Aqsa Mosque is the current region of Aksum in Abyssinian Tigray, where the Yeha Temple or Bayt al-Maqdis is. This is a key point because during Isra or Prophet Muhammad's journey at night, he was not in the vicinity of the Kaaba, he was lying on his bed in Mecca. God mentioned in the verse that he started Isra from Al-Haram Masjid, referring to Mecca, not simply the mosque as we know now. That's because the word Masjid means the place that God is worshipped in the form of prostration or sajda in Arabic. It's worth mentioning that worship through prostration or sajda in Arabic is the means of prayer that distinguished Abyssinian churches and temples until today. Yes, Christians who worship in the Abyssinian highlands, the Tur, perform prostration or sajda in Arabic in worship, exactly the same as Muslims and contrary to Christian worship in the east and west. The temples and churches of Aksua or Aksum that are located in Tigray followed similar methods of worship like mosques or masjids even before the revelation of Islam. On the heights in the sacred city of Aksua, Aksum, there is a unique tourist attraction, one of the most famous churches in the world, Abuna Yamata, which is carved inside a huge rock 2,500 meters tall. It contains the oldest Bible written in the Abyssinian language, Ge'ez, which is a South Arabian language. If you are successful in climbing the mountain and reaching the church inside the rock, you will discover that in fact prayers performed in there, similar to a mosque or masjids, are through prostration or sajda in Arabic. It's also worth mentioning that the current Dome of the Rock inside what is currently called the Aqsa Mosque or Masjid in Palestine was built after the advent of Islam. It was built by the Umayyad Caliphate Abdul Malik bin Marwan in the year 688 AD. Fifth, all the mosques in the world have been designed so that their front wall is perpendicular to the direction of the Kaaba facing Mecca. In other words, the front wall of any mosque or masjid is perpendicular to one of the side walls of the Kaaba. Since the Kaaba is the first house of worship for people, the first sanctuary appointed for mankind was that at Bakha, which means Kaaba, a blessed place, a guidance for the peoples. Then the Kaaba, according to Quran, is the first Qibla that God made for prophets and messengers. That implies that all the houses of worship of the prophets before changing the Qibla to Bayt al-Maqdis had to be built in such a way that their front wall would be perpendicular to one of the walls of the Kaaba, and that's exactly how Yeha Temple is designed. So despite the fact that the Yeha Temple is the oldest place of worship standing today with its four walls in the Abyssinian highlands, the Tur, long before Christ, its front wall is directly perpendicular to the right wall, the Al-Yamani corner of the Kaaba. It's easy to see on Google Earth how the Yeha Temple is directly facing Kaaba in a perfectly perpendicular way. This implies a historical connection or tie between the building of the Kaaba and the Temple of Yeha, where the Temple of Yeha is Bayt al-Maqdis and Aksua, Aksum, in Tigray, Ethiopia, is the Aqsa Mosque or Masjid, where people who worship perform prostration or sajda. These are ordered when they do tawaf around Kaaba to say, "Our Lord, grant us good in this world and good in the hereafter, and save us from the chastisement of the fire of the hell." This is when they reach the Al-Yamani corner of the Kaaba, or in other words, when they reach the imaginary line that makes the front wall of the Yeha Temple perpendicular to the Al-Yamani corner of Kaaba. This supplication combines the beginning and the ending together, the beginning of humanity, the beginning of the covenant with God on the Abyssinian highlands, the Tur, and at the same time the ending on the land of Al-Mahshar or the gathering, which is also the Abyssinian highlands, the Tur. Because Prophet Muhammad said about Bayt al-Maqdis, it is the land of the resurrection and the gathering. Sixth, the relationship between Bayt al-Maqdis and Kaaba is between the east and the west. When the verse was revealed to Prophet Muhammad about changing the direction of Qibla while he was praying in Medina, he was facing Bayt al-Maqdis. He then switched his direction towards the Kaaba, and here the Quran says, "The fools among the people will say, what has turned them from their Qibla which they had? Say, the east and the west belong only to Allah. He guides whom he likes to the right path." It's clear in the verse that Prophet Muhammad changed his direction of prayer between the east and west. This is the geographic relationship between the Kaaba, east, and Yeha Temple, west. As for the relationship between the Kaaba and what is referred to as Bayt al-Maqdis in Palestine, it's a relationship between north and south, not of east and west, as the verse clearly states.
Yes. So I want to just to remind everyone that so far I have shown 3 with reference to Abyssinia, Ethiopia. See? Ethiopia. Very, very important that I say that, Ethiopia. See? So now you know there's a connection that you never realize, you never understand, you never try to understand. The link, you understand? The full manifestation of Kemet. Seriously, Al-Islam. So we'll get ready to finish. Yeah, Al-Islam, beautiful.
People, what is the cause of all the trouble in the world? Things and times so hard, no peace, no day higher. The vengeance of Jaja, it must be on the land. It must be on the land. What we have to do, money can't help you. Rich man up feeling you. Jah vengeance is on the land. Jah vengeance is on the land. All together now, fittest of the fittest shall survive. The strongest of the strongest stay alive. A weak heart shall take a swallow dive. If you have strong faith, you will stay alive. If you live with love, you shall survive. Things and times so tough, oh yeah. Don't it get so tough? We never get enough. Jah vengeance is on the land. Jah vengeance is on the land, yeah. In the world today, tell me, things and times so hard, no peace, no day higher.
Yes, things and times, no peace. I want peace. You understand me? Seriously. That way I sing, sir. Okay. One more tune and we're gone. Where I just scream out mercy, mercy, Lord have mercy on all of us.
I love my children. I love the youth of today. Mercy, 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 mercy.
Yes. So I'm doing my thing different. You know what I mean? Remember that big song there? Everyone do their thing a little way different. Errol. So I'll show you Islam because we want to this know something about Islam, Al-Islam. Not know some about some Muslims. No. Know something about Al-Islam. See? And when I project certain other things, that's where we came from. The music is where we came from and where we're still there. But I select and decide to play songs that if you listen to their words, they have serious implications, serious meanings. You understand? Seriously. Okay. So we are dealing with sending positive messages. Okay. And we are giving ourselves some communication in relation to how we build communities and keep a community vibrant. Yes? And set up the infrastructure within that community that is all about the harmony and the lifestyle, the morality, and the excellence of all those peoples, which is us. Yes. But then we have the surrounding people that we have to, our excellence would be visibly seen. Yeah. You understand? Because we're not living in some vacuum. Nah. We also will be what? Taking care of ourselves. Taking care and developing businesses. Utilizing our skills, our knowledge, our true potential, aiding and supporting each other as we go along. See? Some will leave, some will stay. Some will graduate and leave, some will stay. Yeah, so it will work. You understand? And with the grace of the Almighty God, we'll be successful. There's no doubt about that. But everything has to be done with effort. See? If a people don't want, a person don't want to do something, then something will do them. See? So we know that. And we just want to keep reminding ourselves on that. So at some point in time, we're going to come like a broken record because we're not going to be hyping up about the supremacists. We're not going to be hyping up about, because that's someone else's business. If they squeeze our children or squeeze us, then the conversation will be about that, but a solution for it. Not that we're going to spend yonks of time about how we are. No. Don't go so. Right? We had Carter G. Woods and all these different people that said things, yeah? And none of them give you any form of information about Ethiopia like I've given already in 3 segments. And we're not talking about Ethiopia food and water yet from the Almighty. We're talking about the stabilization, we're talking about the Nile, and we're talking about the original worship. And we're not talking about the prophet sending his followers, the first Hijrah, to Ethiopia. We're not going there yet because that's commonly placed. And the reason why we haven't gone there, we've gone into the Quran. And it's the Quran, the revelation of God, that we work with at this point. Know that. This is not something come out of some history book and from some authors somewhere. No, this is coming out of the Quran. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God Almighty, have said, and this is the vision that He's given to the Prophet, and the Prophet relayed to us. So You can go read up any historical book and you're not going to find somebody over there. You have to find the Quran. Huh? Why am I saying that? Showing the great authentication of what we're dealing with. Not mysticism. Not mysticism. And the reason that you see women is that first we had a mother and she taking care of us. And we have to honor them and respect them as previous generations were doing. We need to prohibit all those bad things that's taken place immediately, because it has infected our young generation. It has infected them. So it's our duty to change that. And these are African women. Right now, what's on the screen, the majority of them, is Ugandan. Or should I have said that? So we'll go away with Chesedek. Now you're going to tell me that I'm prejudiced or I'm racist and everything. But if you're not dealing with Africa, what you going to know? Chesedek, come.
In my heart, woman, you got a place forever in my heart. So there's no reason to worry or wonder, 'cause every day this our love gets stronger. I really pray now my prayers you answer, and you're my sweet, sweet lover. Come in my arms, don't ever be shy. No other girl, no other guy. Can't stop this now, tell them don't try. For this love, it was ordained and set by the Most High. Woman, you got a place forever in my heart. My woman, you got a place forever in my heart. So I never, 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 never run away. Oh, and you should never, 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 never go astray. The same it will be tomorrow, just as it is today. Our love will bring no sorrow, just joy and happiness, with no illusion or fantasy. Oh, just come with me, the Rasta man, on this road of reality. My woman, you got a place forever in my heart.
Wonderful. See?
Wow, wow, wow,
So
wow, 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 wow,
in
wow.
a nice way, in a good way. You know what I mean? Because we have done what we come to do. So we want to go with Mr. Bunny Rocks. Guidance. Things and times. We there with you, we gone. see on screen, and not just that, you know. I saw me do my thing, real things. See, when we are talking about juice in here and everything, that what I do, seed, everything, and much, much more. Yeah. Juice me.
Time to make another turn. No looking back, it's time to accept that it's just another lesson learned. Time to make another turn. Not changing on the pillar of salt, just another lesson learned. Smiling faces, deceitful hearts, eyes that try to scan your thoughts, loose and lying lips, so many culprits. Just another day in this place, 'cause it's time to make another turn. No looking back, it's time to accept that it's just another lesson learned. Time to make another turn. Not changing on the pillar of salt, just another lesson learned. Sorrow looking back, worry looking around, but faith looking forward. I and I trying forward. They come into the snares and traps, they're stumbling blocks. Still we all got to keep moving forward, moving in a judge way. 'Cause everything that happened, it happened for a purpose. Lashes and clashes, they still cannot hurt us. We're guided by the Most High. Time to say bye. Time to make another turn. No looking back, it's time to accept that it's just another lesson learned. Yeah. Time to make another turn. Now turning on a pillar of salt, just another lesson learned. I'm turning to greener pastures. Can't take the chaos, 'cause me know the order. Hey. I'm moving with joy and laughter, 'cause every day you live and you learn. Time to make another turn. No looking back, it's time to accept that it's just another lesson learned. Just another lesson learned. Time to make another turn. Not changing on the pillar of salt, just another lesson learned. 'Cause I got to make another turn. No looking back, it's time to accept that it's just another lesson learned.
Yes.
Time to make another turn.
Very important. It's a lesson learned time. See? So once we understand that, recognize that, you know, we don't need to fight nothing down. It's real things. See? Trust me on that. You understand? So we want to thanks for the listening and share. At the top we had do the right thing. Yes, we had do the right thing. Right at the top, you know what I mean? So we have Marcia, Aisha, one more. You know, I said that's what I'm gonna do. Daddy. Yeah. Pull up. Long time. Settle slide, settle. Yeah, you know what I mean? And we that man in the diaspora, you understand? Our evolution over the time and the time and the time, you know, them generations there, the hardship. You see, yeah. And we have find ourselves, our spirit going right back to the continent. You understand? And we merge it with our feeling, you know, due to the time. You see it there? Yeah. We call it dubwise. So we say, give thanks, we're gone. Guidance. Oh, yeah, say, Marcia. You see, me, I'm going too bad.